Hey, Facebook. I'm back. It's been 2 weeks, so it's time to talk again. Y'all know I like to talk a lot, and I've missed you guys. And tonight is super special. It's not just table talk, it's table bark. I'm so excited.
Yay.
Yeah, my dogs are asleep, though. They're sitting underneath me, and they're being very stinky. So if y'all see me have some weird faces on, I'm so sorry. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and share this for a little bit. So if y'all see me going crazy, it's because y'all know I have trouble doing this every time. Okay.
Updater.
Yes. Y'all, I got it to work, like no problems. That never happens. Usually you'll always see me struggling to find it or something. But I got it to work, yay! If y'all are jumping on, go ahead and put something in the comments so that we can see you're here. I like to say hi to everybody. I want to know who's there. Oh, my dog's talking to me now. Hey, Mary. You want to say hi to Yoda? Yoda says hi. Come here, Yoda.
Hey, Mary.
Here's Yoda.
Oh.
He's kind of growling at me. He doesn't like me picking him up sometimes. Here's Yoda. Obi's just sitting under the chair, just tooting away. And you have a dog over there too, don't you? I think I see a little fur baby on your couch over there.
Oh, yeah, I have two. I have Millie that you can kind of see, and she's, of course, a rescue. And then Tater's pretty much on top of me, who was my 15-year-old blind rescue he was a baby when I adopted him.
Oh, how sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's from Idaho, so he deserves the name Tater.
That's cute. Ours are Yoda and Obi.
Perfect.
Yeah. When they're in trouble, my son calls them Obi-Wan. Yes. Thank guys for joining us. If you're just jumping on tonight, we have a special guest. This is Laurie Laing, and she is a volunteer with the H.A.R.T Animal Rescue and Transport. And so November is not just going to be table talk segments, y'all. This is going to be a table bark segment. And we're just going to talk about some of the, tonight it'll be specifically about H.A.R.T. And then later on this month, we have a couple other local nonprofits that deal with animal rescue. But we're going to be talking about with the holidays coming up. You know, it's time to think about these little fur babies. And, you know, some people, they think it's just a great Christmas present. And to me, that really lays a heavy burden on my heart to think that, you know, it's just a Christmas present, but it's not. It's a lifelong commitment, y'all. And I speak with that from experience myself and having to have that same mistake. So I'm really excited that Laurie has joined us today to tell us about her experience with H.A.R.T. So we're going to go ahead and get started, y'all. And I have asked, instead of our normal icebreaker, I'm going to have Laurie share with us one of her experiences with H.A.R.T and one of her little moments with the fur babies that has stuck with her. And if you guys have one too, go ahead and put it in the comments or let me know if you have any fur babies, who they are, what they are. I would love to hear about it, and we can just talk about dogs and cats all night. I mean, that's fine with me.
Perfect.
So go ahead, Laurie. Go ahead and tell us a story.
Absolutely. So really, this happened a little bit before H.A.R.T was started, but it was still the person who is the head, the originator of H.A.R.T. But I moved back to Little Rock about 8 years ago when I was down at the dog park and talking about how cute this dog was. And she's like, oh, it's a foster. And I was like, oh, a foster, okay, what does that mean? And she's like, well, you know, I'm keeping him for a few weeks and then he's gonna head north. I'm like, what are you talking about? I had no idea there was this whole world of transporting dogs from high kill shelters to safety. I didn't even know that existed. And that was really my first step into getting involved with these programs. So that's near and dear to me. Just going to the dog park.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's really cool. Like, I would have never thought that one trip like that could have just completely changed the whole
Huge
outlook on it.
impact. Mhm.
Oh, yes. So, and which dog park was it that you said you went to?
Oh gosh, it was down by the river. It was before y'all had a dog park.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was down at Rebsman Park.
Oh,
We would
yeah.
go down there just because I had just moved back to town. So it was a way for me to socialize as well as my dogs to socialize. So we would head down there a few times a week
We
and
went
meet
to the
all kinds
one,
of dog lovers.
yeah. We went to the one in Benton, and I've got to say, I think my children played more on the dog things than my actual dog.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Toys are great.
Right?
They're
They were
great.
just running up and down. I'm like, don't put your face on that. Please
Oh,
don't
how
touch
funny.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us more a little bit about what H.A.R.T is. You talked about that it's a transport, animal rescue transport, but what specifically do they do?
It is. So, what H.A.R.T does, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background about H.A.R.T.
Sure.
Liana H.A.R.T is the founder, and she actually started a rescue transport about 2012, maybe, and did that, transported over 3,000 dogs, but had to step back because it's very involved. What happens is you find the dogs in the high kill shelters, then you have to find temporary fosters depending upon where they're going, foster them, get them spayed, neutered, all the medical aspects of it have to happen prior to travel. And then they transport either by, it's called a paid transport or a volunteer transport to either the Northeast or to the Midwest. So it's just a very entailed process to make this all happen. But it's well worth it.
Yeah, sorry, I told you it's going to happen.
Oh
My
yeah,
little one got up.
absolutely.
No, but so you talked about how you go in and you find, and I say you as just a volunteer term,
Right.
but you go in and you find these dogs. It's not like they necessarily come to you. Like people don't come to you.
Not usually. I mean, you may see something on Facebook, so they do. And depending upon the location of the shelter, because we are really Arkansas based, so we work with the kill shelters here in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So depending upon where they are, then you may see it on Facebook or somebody shoots you an email about a dog, but they definitely find us.
And how many? Go ahead.
Oh no, that's fine.
I was going to say, have you fostered dogs through this program?
I have fostered. I will say there are several aspects of this program that you can be involved with. And my Millie, who is a beagle, is not the friendliest of dogs. So fostering for our family is a little more difficult. So what I do is I drive. I may drive from Arkadelphia to Little Rock. I may drive dogs to their doctor's appointments. I am a transporter more than I am a foster just because of my situation. And actually, I just purchased for work, but in the back of my head for transporting a minivan so I can fit more dogs into a minivan than I could my Prius. So I'm looking forward to getting some dogs to safety.
Have you seen the movie Bridesmaids?
I have.
I'm
It's
just
been a long
imagining you
time.
right now. You remember the part with Melissa McCarthy? They give out like puppy dogs at the bridal shower.
Oh my God, yes.
Feels like 20 of them in her minivan.
Exactly. That's going to be me.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's going to be Laurie.
Me. Yep.
You know, and
That's
we
me.
will love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing with volunteering. There's always a place for you to fit into, because it may be fostering, it may be transporting, it may be helping with fundraisers, getting the word out. There's so many things that need to be done that anyone can hop in and help.
Yeah. So how you talked about getting the dogs spayed and neutered and taking them to their vet appointments and stuff like that. So these
Yes.
dogs don't have homes, obviously. How does H.A.R.T funded to do all that?
It's all by donations at this point. Hopefully at some point we can get someone to do some grants, but you have to have someone who knows how to write a grant to do that.
So there's a volunteer opportunity.
There's another volunteer opportunity, because that's
Yes.
not something that I have found that I'm necessarily that great at yet. So it's all donation based.
Okay. So I kind of mentioned this before, but why do you think there's a need for people to adopt rather than shop, especially around this holiday season?
There are so many reasons. The first example I'm going to give is actually a family member from 8 years ago. And I had found them this great rescue dog. I was all excited. They were like, oh no, we found one. I'm like, oh, okay. So it was Christmas Eve, and they show up for their kids, who are now, of course, in college, but with this puppy. I'm like, okay. Well, come to find out, the breeder let them have it at 4 weeks, which you shouldn't have a dog until really 12 weeks. But she had a trip planned. So here they have this dog at 4 weeks. She ends up getting sick, barely survives. You know, so you have breeders out there who are just concerned about the dollar amount. And now, don't misunderstand me. There are decent breeders out there, but there's such a need for adoption, because these shelters, once they get to capacity, they have to start putting dogs down.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily something they want to do.
Oh gosh, it's not something they want to do at all.
Yeah.
I think it's heartbreaking to them to have to do it. Then you have these breeders who are backyard breeders, who you may think you're getting some sort of a specific dog that really in the long run is not what you thought it was, and they're not taking care of these animals, and they're just breeding these dogs over and over and over, which is really unhealthy for the dogs. Yeah. And then, I mean, I don't want people to think, I'm not trying to badmouth. I have another family member who just got a dog. If you do absolutely have to get a dog from a breeder, make sure that you can meet the mom and the dad. Because if you can't, don't do it. It's not coming from a healthy environment.
It's like they're hiding something.
Exactly. There's so many small shelters around Central Arkansas, and even, Little Rock, North Little Rock, Benton Bryant, that are doing such a good job and trying so hard to save dogs, that if you there are a couple of websites, and of course, now that I said it, petfinder.com. It's not like you have to go to all these different shelters to look. You can get online and look. And if you find a dog that interests you, then you can just go and check them out.
Yeah. A lot of them have, they post like weekly at least on their Facebook page. I know. Yeah. I know my fiance, he will post like, or send me something like twice a week. Like, hey, let's go get this dog. It's like,
oh, how funny. Absolutely.
Let's just keep the kids alive.
Facebook, Pet Finder, really are two of the main places. I have a friend who actually, because of my Facebook page, has seen a dog in Central Arkansas. So So I'm going to be there at the crack of dawn on Monday to try and get this dog to go back. She wants her, and she lives in Idaho. So we're going to have to, transport this dog, but get them out of a shelter and send them to a safe place.
Yeah. So, wow, sometimes you have long distances to go, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So we talked about, well, hang on. One question I do have when we talked about money and stuff. I've never actually adopted a dog. But I know that fees are different wherever you go, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
But do you think how easy is it to adopt a dog?
It's actually really pretty easy. You just need to go to the shelter. They want your information, so they'll ask for a driver's license to make sure they know how to contact you. If it's a dog that is too young to be spayed or neutered, they'll expect you to bring that dog back and have them spayed and neutered at an appropriate time.
Is that included in an adoption fee?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Usually in the adoption fee, the spay and neuter is included. But as far as shots, that sort of stuff is not necessarily included. They don't check to see if the dog has worms. Usually in a shelter, it's something you're going to want to take to your local vet, especially because here in the South, it's such a big deal to treat your dogs for heartworms. Mm-hmm. So you want to go in, the test is maybe $30. And then lo and behold, they actually have a shot now that costs about the same amount as getting the pill for your dog, that you can just get a shot every 6 months to treat heartworms versus trying to get them to take a pill.
Oh, wow. Well, that's easy.
I know, right?
My dog don't have to coat anything in peanut butter.
Exactly. So usually it's just the spay and neuter, and the cost of taking care of the animal is going to be what you're paying for here in Central Arkansas. Now, when we transport them, it's a little bit more expensive because you have to look at if it's a paid transport, was there heartworm treatment involved with it? There are different aspects to what charge for the dog up in those areas.
Yeah. And we have, I know the Humane Society was doing it at least pre-COVID. I know COVID has thrown everybody off whack.
Everybody off, yes.
Right. But they also had shot clinics, some low-cost shot clinics also.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, during COVID, most shelters, have not been able to do the shot clinics because of having to keep the distance. Now, there is a great location called Arkansas for Animals over in Otter Creek that has great prices for spay and neuter in comparison to just taking to your local vet, because that can get expensive. I mean, it's not cheap to own a dog.
Oh no,
at all.
Obi? We're gonna get you taken care of, buddy.
Get that? We just had Millie's teeth cleaned and had some cysts removed, and I feel like I'm definitely putting dinner on someone's table, which is fine because she is well worth it. But you have to be prepared for unexpected expenses, and for shots annually, and for heartworms, and just your basic food and treats. Of course, I can't say treats too loudly.
Right? Don't start something.
I know.
So this is not one of the questions I had sent you before, but after talking with you, I know some things that people think about the holidays when they're deciding, to get their kid a dog or their spouse a dog or whatever. They're just like, well, if it's too much, we'll just drop it off at the shelter or whatever.
Right.
So you have transported dogs who have gone through that. I mean, it's a trauma. It's a trauma.
Yes.
What kind of what can that do to a dog? I mean, this is a living, breathing animal. I mean, it's not just a
and it
gets
attached. It gets attached to the family into the home and how it's treated, whether or not it's crated or not crated. And then all of a sudden it's in a cage. So it's very traumatizing for the dog. And unfortunately, all year long, but especially after Christmas,
Yep.
there are so many owner surrenders. And for one, you're putting your dog at risk for being put down. I mean, I'm kind of sugarcoating it. You're putting your dog at risk for being killed. And that's something you have to consider when you're getting a dog for your family, especially at Christmas. Everybody wants puppies. Oh, are they house trained? Well, of course not. They're puppies. You know, did your baby come out and automatically go sit on the pot? No.
I mean, that would have been great, but
I know, wouldn't it? It'd be very nice, but it doesn't work that way. And even with older dogs who have been in the shelter, they're kind of shell shocked. So they may come home and have some accidents. You can't give up your dog just because they're having a few accidents.
yeah.
You have someone that, another big one is allergies. Have an idea going into it, get allergy tested if you have to. But if you're planning on starting a family and people are like, oh, we're having a baby, we can't have the dog anymore. You know, have that in mind before you adopt. And then the worst to me is the senior dogs who have been with families forever and now they've gotten old and they want a puppy. So we're going to trade our dog into the shelter and we're going to leave with a puppy.
Oh, that's
Which
so
I wish there was something we could do about that and say, you're turning the dog in, you can't have another dog.
It's like an iPhone, just upgrading the dog, right?
Exactly. That's yes. So when you go into it, it's a lifetime commitment for that dog, which can be, I mean, my little tater tot, who's blind as a bat now, is 15, and I got him as a puppy. So it's their life and a huge chunk of yours of a commitment.
Yeah. Holly is doing our commenting. I believe it's Holly. Sorry if I got that wrong. But she said that she went to the Humane Society in Bauxite this year for one of the low-cost shot clinics, and she took her cats. So that's cool. Tell us how that went, Holly. Go ahead and tell us in the comments how that went. And if it's not Holly, if it's someone else, tell me who it is so I can correct myself. But yeah, I think you said all of that well. I mean, it's hard to think about. And like I said, I am one of those people that I had that reality after, I had a surrender a dog. Luckily, we were able to find someone to take the dog, so I didn't just drop it off.
Right. Well, and I had a situation where I had a rescue end up leaving 6 feral puppies with me, which was a lot. And I had 2 beagle females, and they ended up fighting for territory. And I had to rehome one of them because I wasn't going. There are people out there who do this. Let me preface that. It was not a life I felt comfortable with because I screwed up. But I had a hard time keeping one in one room while the other one went out and making sure the other one was put up. So they were fighting. And I just didn't want either of them to live through that stress. So the younger one, I did rehome. I mean, there are situations where it happens, but when it's, oh, we're having a baby, we can't have a dog anymore.
Right.
Or, oh, we're moving and we can't have a dog anymore. Well, try a little bit harder to find some place that's going to accept dogs.
Yeah. And even just like I found mine, you can't post on Facebook Swap Shop and stuff like that you have dogs for sale or anything like that. But reaching out through friends on Facebook had helped me so much.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there are a lot of options for when you do come through to that point. that you don't have to just surrender your dog. There's so many people out there willing to help out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because that's my dog did not go to a shelter. It went to another home.
Yeah. And we still keep in contact with them. We're actually Facebook friends now. And he sends me pictures and stuff on how he's doing. He's got more room to run around. He's one of those that no matter how old this dog is, he's going to be a puppy at heart.
Yeah.
So we lived in subdivision.
That's another thing that we haven't talked about, but you need to research and have an idea of the dog's temperament and behaviors before you adopt as well. Not that you can always tell what it is, because they're usually a mix. You do find full-blooded breeds at the shelter, but if you look at a lot of them, like your golden doodle, that's a mutt. I mean, that's two dogs who have made this one new. I can't think of the word, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's a fancy dog.
Yeah.
So you need to do the research on your temperament of the dogs as well, because that makes a big difference. People are like, oh, it's so hyper. Well, how old is it? What kind of dog is it? I mean, these are things to take into consideration.
He was begging to get up here. So.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's fabulous.
He looks like an old man. I shave him. I've learned how to shave my dog during COVID.
Oh, wow.
But we always joke how he looks like such an old man. And he's only like 3.
I love it.
Yeah. Holly says that Holly says that when she went to the Humane Society, she saved about $140 going there, which is great. And that's why I love the Humane Society and everything they do. I hate how COVID has just struck them so hard. And we're actually going to talk with Anne on our next table talk. Anne is going to be our guest. So if anybody wants to know how you can help out the Humane Society right now, they will be on the next table talk. But it's 9:00, so we're going to get off here in a minute. But I want you to touch base with, if anybody is wanting to get involved with H.A.R.T or know someone that has, a strong pull for this, how can they get involved? I'm going to put your Facebook page up here while you go ahead and let us know.
Absolutely. I probably should have emailed this to you, but you can email me at, do you want to type, can you type it as I tell you?
Yeah, let me put Yoda Man down.
Oh, I know, right? Y'all can email me at lalcda@gmail.com. Or just go to the Facebook page, but you have to make sure that you're putting the periods in between the H and the A and the R and the T.
lalcda@gmail.com?
Correct.
Okay, there's that email right there if you want to get in touch with Laurie, guys. So, yeah, Laurie, thank you so much for being on here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah, so this is the first time I'd ever heard about H.A.R.T, and this is just a great, great nonprofit and organization that you're involved with. And first of all, it takes up so much time that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So thanks for being dedicated to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If anybody watching this now or comes back and watch it, or you know someone that is thinking about getting an animal for the holidays, please make sure that they've done their research. Like Laurie said, they've thought about the dog itself and their home situation. And then also, like she said, we have so many animals in shelters right now that just need a loving home. And we have so many homes in Saline County that I know that can provide that for them.
Absolutely.
So, yes. Well, y'all take care. Y'all have a great night. Laurie, go love on those dogs, because I know they're jealous that I'm taking your time.
Yes. Yes. And thank you again for having me.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to go take care of this dog over here because he's stinking so bad, y'all. But y'all have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.